Hello, my name is Wayne Lewis, the Education Director for O&M. Today, I'm going to talk you through O&M COR.restore, one of the new products that we have introduced to the Core Colour range. COR.restore repairs, protects and rebuilds hair. It's quite an amazing product in the fact that it's changing the norm, like O&M has changed with colour. So ultimately, this is basically a treatment that can be added to any technical service that is happening in the salon and work in synergy with that treatment or that service as well. How it works in many respects is sort of like quite amazing. It's basically amino acids which we're adding into the hair in step one, and then step two, what we're actually doing is adding amino acids as well as organic elements to lock everything into the hair. It's one treatment which has multiple services that it can be added to, and one of the amazing things is that you're actually going to see immediate results. So as I said before, the technology. What we're looking at is a blend of amino acids that go in first, and that gets mixed in with a colour, with a highlight, with a toner, even with an on-scalp lightener, or you can also use it in any painting service. The technology also adds itself or can be used in standalone treatments as well. The second part of the treatment actually helps to lock everything in, and that's done with amino acids as well, as I said before, an organic blend of ingredients. The technology behind this is quite interesting. What we're looking at, and you can see on this particular slide, is what the amino acid composition of hair is. And then on the other side, what you can actually see is what we've put into this amazing product. So all the amino acids that are going through are very similar to what the hair is actually made up. So by putting ingredients into this product, which is what the hair is made up of, you're causing sort of like an instant joining or an instant synergy between the two. So you're getting that strength and that rebuilding, which is quite amazing. And ultimately what you're going to find is that it is going to not only sort of like help the condition of hair, it's going to help colours to last, but you're also going to be able to have more services available in the salon and for all your clients as well. One of the other amazing things I find with this product is that it's challenging the norms of what we've come to believe with hair colouring and or treating hair of any kind. What you're finding is you're actually able to put a treatment in while you actually colour or do any sort of chemical service to the hair. So it's almost depositing the colour or making the change in the hair, but while you're also doing a treatment at the same time. So this is where, to me, the real revolution comes. One of the most amazing things too is that it is very simple. We're not changing anything about measuring or timing or changing anything that we add. Ultimately, all you're doing is adding 2, 3, 4, 5 mils of this product to whatever the technical service is that you're doing, and that's all you have to do. So no change in times, no change in activators, nothing. It is so simple. Part one is what I call the liquid gold. So it is our liquid. Ultimately, what this part does, this helps to relink bonds in the hair. So it also helps to protect and look after all the keratin that is naturally found in the hair. So part one gets added in, and it is in micro form. So if you're thinking about the O&M colour, this is the perfect complement in many respects. Because we use micropigments there, this also is another micro product. So it is able to penetrate the hair to get into the furthermost part of the hair and have the most benefit. The next key that we're looking at is going to come into what services that you can add it to. So ultimately, anything from lightening, going through to permanent hair colours, semis, demis, and then it can also be used after any perming or straightening system that you have. One of the keys also with any sort of like painting technique, this can also be added into that as well. It won't alter the strength of activator that you need to use, and you do not need to change any timing with this product. So it is a very simple product to use, and it will add benefit to every treatment that you actually do on the hair. Part number 2 is the balm. This is our restorative cream. So once you've done part number 1, part number 2 is designed to lock everything in. So part 1 tends to be super micro. whereas the size of this is slightly larger. And what that's going to do is coat around the outside of the hair and help to lock everything in. So ultimately part 1 goes deeper. This does not go as deep, but what this allows to happen is a coating around the hair to keep everything locked in so that you're keeping the hair in the best possible condition that you can. Ultimately, this has amino acids which will help to replump the keratin within the hair, and then the organic elements which will ultimately add a little bit more weight and help to coat around the outside of the hair. What this is going to do is lock everything in and keep all of part number 1 locked into the hair by putting the balm 2 around the outside of the hair. Next part we come to is how to use the mixing and the timing. Please remember that when you're using it in any sort of chemical service, whether it be a powder lightener, a tint, a semi, it gets added to the weight of the colour. It does not get added to the weight of the colour and the activator. So this is simply added to colour. Please note, because this is why it's so effective, you don't need to use that much. So when we talk about using it into sort of like any sort of colour service, for every 10 grams of colour, we add 1 ml of the COR.restore, up to a maximum of 5 mils. If you need to use more than 5 mils into any bowl, we suggest that you remix. So ultimately it's a maximum of 5 mils of this product into any colour service that you do. So if you're thinking about a regular tint, for most people you'd use 20 grams of colour for a root retouch, then you're looking at 2 parts or 2 mils of Restore Part 1. So ultimately it is going to go a very, very long way. Then we talk about semis and demis. We go even to our super blondes, which are really, really effective when you're using a product like this in. So please remember, for every 10 grams of colour, 1 mil of COR.restore. But no more than 5 mils at any point into any one bowl. It should be remixed from there because ultimately you want to keep the product fresh and active the whole way through. When using the Restore with any of our lightening services, it's a very, very effective tool. So ultimately, when you're using it with the powder lightener, when you're using it on scalp or in foils, we talk about using 2 mils of the COR.restore Part 1 to every 10 grams of the lightener or the bleach. When we're adding it to the paint powder, you're adding 1 mil of the Restore to every 10 grams of the paint powder, simply because of the weight. Now remember that all of these products are already fortified in many respects. All this is going to do is add extra strength and really preserve the integrity of the hair. So remember, it can be added to any lightening or bleaching service, any paint powder as well. And although we don't have a cream bleach, you are actually able to add it to cream bleaches as well. So for any lightening service with our bleachers or our lightening, you'd add 2 mils to 10 grams. When you're adding it to the paint powder, you'd look at 1 mil for every 10 grams of powder. Once your colour or lightening service is finished, take your client to the basin, then rinse the hair through. Once the excess colour and everything has been removed, then what you're going to do is apply Part 2, the COR.restore Balm. Put it evenly through the hair and leave it for 5 to 10 minutes to process. That's all it needs, literally 5 to 10 minutes to process once it's been spread evenly through the hair. From there, rinse, shampoo, and use the correct conditioner for the hair type. Then you'll be ready to go. So it really is that simple. COR.restore can also be used with any perming or straightening service. It gets used as an after service. So ultimately what happens, once you rinse the neutralizer out, you're going to apply Part 1 directly to middle lengths to ends of the hair, process that for 5 minutes, rinse, then apply Part 2 and leave that on for 5 minutes. You can even go up to 10 minutes if you want to, but 5 minutes should be enough. Ultimately, rinse your neutralizer out, apply Part 1, rinse, then apply Part 2. So after any perming or straightening service, it will restructure and help to really strengthen the hair. As a standalone treatment, this is where it really comes into its own as well. There are different ways to mix, and what you'll see on the screen at the moment is a mixing ratio that we've come up with to make it as simple as possible, that really is quite effective. Good condition, compromised, and highly compromised hair. It's simply mixing Part 1 and Part 2 together, then applying to the hair. I would always suggest doing Detox Shampoo first of all. 1 to 2 shampoos will really give you an effective base so that the treatment, a standalone treatment, can really be beneficial for the hair. So simply shampoo, towel dry, apply. And this is one of those times where normally I don't say heat, but a low heat added to this service can really produce amazing results. So we'd always talk about using a low heat for 5 to 10 minutes. If you don't actually have a heat system in salon, you can put a hot towel over the head as well, and that will help to infuse the treatment into the hair. So once you've actually put the treatment through the hair, rinse, style, and then you're ready to go from there. So one of the things I really like to do is add this to any blow dry service as well, because what you're helping to do is lock the moisture in. You're really keeping that moisture and the keratin and the strength in the hair, but you're able to lock the frizz out. So as any sort of like blow dry service, this is a really, really amazing add-on treatment that you can do. And it's quite simple, quite quick, and very, very effective. One of the other ways I really love this is when you're looking at it as a colour lock treatment. So a lot of times when you're using very soft pastels or when you're putting colour onto compromised hair, this is almost going to web it into the hair. It's going to lock it in and really cause that sort of like hair to hold and grab the colour. So you're almost extending the life of your colour while improving the hair of the condition as well. We've been playing around with the pricing just to show you sort of how effective this product can be. So for most of the bottles, what you're going to find is you've got 1 of part 1, 2 of part 2. So you're averaging at least 75 treatments out of this pack. So when you're looking at something like this, all you're adding on to time-wise is an extra 5 to 10 minutes for this service because it's being added into your colour or into any other colour service that you're doing. So ultimately, the most time you're going to be taking is 5 to 10 minutes. And the recommended pricing that we would start to say, look at doing it at a $30 increase on anybody's bill. So the amount of money that can be taken over from this is quite amazing. But not just looking at the money side, I'm looking at the condition of the hair. It's going to allow your client to do so many more things with the hair because you really are fortifying and keeping the condition of the hair in just such an amazing way. So for me, the price, you can charge anything you want. So I've known salons and I've seen it where people are actually looking at charging sort of like $80 plus a treatment because it's extending the life of colour services, but also blowouts. I've been using it a lot when I've been doing low lights because what it's really doing is helping to lock everything in. So have a look at how it's going to work for you and your salon. But for me, it can be added into colour. It can be added into any sort of foils, painting services. So it really does have a multitude of uses. What I also like to look at is why we don't have, or sort of like in many respects, people are talking about things that you can take home to use at home. But ultimately, this is something that is for salons, by salons. So there's no silicone coating or anything like that over the hair. So it really doesn't need anything to take home. All of the O&M products are fantastic to be used at home along with this because this is designed just to be used at salon simply because of the technology involved and because it really is a product that will last and keep working. I would suggest using it every time a client comes in, and if there's somebody's coming in on a weekly for a blowout, you could certainly use it once a week, no problems at all. So there's really no service that is not going to benefit from having this added to it. For any clients that are just cut clients, this is the perfect way to introduce them to something different because ultimately this is not going to affect the colour of their hair, but what it's going to do is help to fortify and build their hair up. So before any cut service, this is a brilliant product to offer to clients who really want to sort of like keep sharp haircuts or really keep that texture in the hair because it's going to help to rebuild the hair without changing the colour or anything like that on the hair. To me, that's an amazing thing to be able to add to all. Any sort of blow dries, I really think that this is sort of like something that is going to help with blow dries, extend the life of a blow dry and just make a blow dry look so much better by locking in all the sort of like the good stuff into the hair and really stopping any frizz from forming on the outside of the hair. Something that we've been sort of throwing around is maybe introduce it to clients as a 4-week blowout package so they can come in once a week and then they can start to have a look and notice the difference in their hair by having this with every blowout. One of the questions we get asked a lot, you can see through here, is do I need to do anything different with my activator, increase the activator, go up a level or anything like that? Nothing needs to be changed whatsoever. It is not designed to make you change anything other than it's going to give you great results. So no need to change your activator, change your times. Also with powder lighteners, it will not alter the strength of the powder lightener being used. One of the other things, it can be used with any other color range as well. It's formulated like an amino acid rebuild, protect, repair. So it can be mixed with any other range, any other color, any other bleach that is on the market as well. Ultimately, it's an amazing tool because you're not going to change the straightening or the curl pattern after a chemical service either. So it really is designed to look after and fortify the hair in many ways. So if you leave it on for too long, what will happen? Ultimately, nothing. The product is designed to do what it's designed to do, and it will stop working after a certain amount of time. So literally your 5 to 10 minutes when you're using it after is all that you're going to get out of your balm as well. So please note that you can't leave it on for too long. 5 to 10 minutes is all you do need to leave it on for. So ultimately, as I said before, there is no retail or take-home product. Ultimately, because it's not about sort of like using silicons or anything like that. It's just about strengthening from within. So ultimately, all the good stuff's been done in salon. So you've looked after the hair. There's nothing more to have to use at home from there. One of the things I'd like to really leave you with is to think about that it is such a simple and easy product to use. It's literally using a couple of mils into products to get maximum results from the hair and to really keep the condition of the hair. So ultimately, the hair feels like conditioned hair, not hair that's been coated with a conditioner. And that's ultimately, for me, I want hair to feel beautiful, look beautiful, and that's what this product is going to deliver. It's one of the newest things that we've added to our collection within the O&M range, and I hope that you are going to love it as much as I do. So that's the O&M COR.restore. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know how you've been using it. If you've got any tips or tricks, share them with us. Be part of the tribe. Look for us on Facebook and also in our Instagram page. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you, Wayne. It sounds like an exciting product. I know that I have played with it so tediously here in the office, but loving all of the results. So it's been a fantastic launch here in our corporate office. We did have a core color class yesterday here at corporate, and we used it on every single model. So we had a lot of fun, and it really does. It exposes a lot of shine, and hair fabric it's impeccable. So I'm excited to launch this. The ease of use is tremendous, and I know that if you purchase the kit, I've estimated from using full through a kit, I got about 75 plus uses out of it. So depending on if you're using it as an in-salon treatment or adding to any of your color standalone treatment or in your color or your bleaching, I do notice that I'm getting a lot more longevity out of my fashion shades as well as my toners. And those blondes are really loving it here in Florida. So I did find that if in one kit, using it the way I have been, getting over 75 uses out of it, I think I found that the kit profit was about $2,000 something. So that can be a lovely raise in your income for the year, especially coming up to 2019 already. So I just think it's a great benefit to have on your back bar. People are asking here if it's gluten-free. There are some wheat amino acids in the product too, so that might be something that you want to patch test or test on your client before using in case they do have a severe gluten issue. They're also asking how it compares with OA's infrared rebuilding treatment as a standalone. Well, they're both incredible services that are going in and repairing that hair from the inside out with the amino acids and pushing that further in with that infrared technology. I find that people like to add things into their color, so it's a little quicker service, I suppose, rather than adding to the end. Having the infrared iron being a unique tool to add to your services is super awesome, but A lot of people have been working with Olaplex in the past, and we just thought that working with COR to bring something like this to the market was valuable as well. So just depends on how you prefer to use it. Both are remarkable in repairing that inner structure without doing it with silicones and such that are coating the outside of the hair and then having to send your client home with an additional silicone-based product to keep on coating that outside hair shaft. We like to really go in and consider the integrity of the fiber that we're working with. And then, designing that webbing that has that amino acid structure to the hair. And then, finding that the longevity of our toners and such are able to embed themselves, being that color molecules are so attracted to the webbing of the protein and the bonds inside the hair. So really getting in there where that pigment can expand and be locked in is really important, especially for all these pastel toners and fun fashion shades that we've all been doing lately and really showing on Instagram. When you're working with pricing with your clients, I know that a lot of us have a big fear of being inside our client's pocketbook and being concerned about adding these additional treatment pricing to our services. But I think we've all been trained as professionals to make sure that we're working with something that we believe in, having a nice fabric to work on so that that hair fiber is in great shape. So we typically add a treatment service or a price to the end of a service versus just being able to lock it in to a color or a bleach or as a standalone treatment. I found that even doing it as a standalone treatment, that my clients that thought that they needed a massive haircut because the ends of their hair was tattered, I'm finding that after doing this service, we have to take off a lot less than we wanted to, that we were thinking originally that we needed to because those ends were so tore up. But now we're able to rebond the fabric of the hair from those ends and maybe just have to get by with a little trim, especially if our clients are wanting to grow that hair out or keep the length of their hair in perfect condition. So, think of it as a great opportunity to not only get the hair that you're working with in the salon to a beautiful condition every time, because people will give you referrals for having such beautiful hair out there, but then also how that's going to give you a raise and how to do so, because we are adding treatments all the time anyway. So COR has brought this to our market, and we appreciate that. So let's see if there's any other questions here in the forum that I can help answer. How much is the kit? Well, we've actually designed it so that October, if you want to take part in getting this kit, you are spending only $199.95. And like I mentioned, you're having over a $2,000 profit if you use it according to the recipes that we've shared. And so otherwise it goes up, I believe, to about $240 after the October special. So get in on this now while we have a lot of clients. We're hitting fourth quarter. We have we're all probably very booked throughout the remainder of the year. And so this is a great time to start adding in something like this treatment to your service offerings. So let's see. Can it be used with H color and hypercolor drops with the heat? It could be. I tend to like to keep that formula, that recipe with the hypercolor drops clean without adding it in, and being that it's such a gentle way of working with that color line. I have used it that way and it didn't affect my results, but just be clear that, it's not necessarily necessary for a lot of those hair types that are working with the hypercolor drops. So let's see, what else? But it can be used with any product line. I mean, of course, I'm quite fond of our offerings here at Simply Organic. But, if you use a different color line and you're trying to maybe introduce some new, cleaner, healthier products to your in your salon, this might be a great way to introduce this kit to your current color services, get that hair fabric in a better condition, and then start talking to your guests about using healthier organic products in their lifestyle and in your salon too. So might be a great way for you to be able to bundle up and make a nice profit off of this treatment package, and then go do that over and over. But I think we answered that, being that there are wheat amino acids inside the ingredient formulation. And we are a transparent company, so part of our message to you is, if you want an ingredient list, by all means, we can email that to you. There is a quick start guide attached to this webinar, and So it's an easy way to download everything we've shared with you today and have a quick guide in your back room so that you can start using this successfully in your salons. So I see someone's asking how long a treatment will last. And you can use this weekly if you feel like that hair fabric needs it. But that's another thing. Your color services are actually going to last longer. So if you're booking someone typically 4 or 5 weeks, and now they're getting 6 weeks out of their hair color, why wouldn't you charge accordingly? So that's one way to think about it. And the treatment it's actually building that hair fabric and hair fiber up. So depending on what they're using at home as far as shampoos, conditioners, or they're bleaching, and it depends on what they're doing in their lifestyle, I suppose, is how long it's going to last. But it is actually going in and inside building those inner blocks and bonds up inside the hair. So it's actually, since it's not a silicone base, it will last longer because it's actually putting back in the building blocks of the hair fabric and the structure. So I do want to mention we are going to do a Facebook Live, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here at Simply Organic Corporate, where I'll be demoing the product, showing you the mix, showing you some hands-on ways that I'm going to be using it in my salon. So hopefully you can stay tuned. If you are joining us late on this, we will be replaying this. Of course, within 24 hours, you'll be able to view this again. It will not be live, so you'd have to call us for your questions, which we're always happy and eager to do for you. So we do have a professional stylist staff on hand here to walk you through everything. But hopefully you'll be able to join me tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook Live. So I am Rebecca Gregory, Vice President of Education. I've got a great team here of salon professionals willing and happy to always help formulate or answer any of those ingredient questions or whatever you may need to get going in your salon. So let's see if there's any other questions that I need answered that I'm missing. Price to purchase covered. We have some kit options for October to get this into your hands. You definitely will not be disappointed. This is something that all of my clients that I've been using it on to test the product and get going are loving it. So will it be available at Simply Organic online after this webinar? By all means, you can get it. I believe it's up to date now online. I mean, these people have been working on this day and night to get this going. So if you do have any issues ordering it online, just give us a ring and we can get you everything you need quickly. So we do have an account management staff here ready to take your calls, but we are here to help in any way we can, Jessica. So who else has questions on here? Can it be ordered online? Okay, just answered that, I think. So can't the ends, do you treat at the bowl? I don't think I understand that question. So maybe clarify. You can do a lot of this service at the bowl. Ideally, you would be a lot of it because you're adding part 2, the balm, and then you may or may not need to shampoo it out, depending on what you're doing. And that's how I would answer that. On a retouch foil, would you treat the ends of the bowl? Okay, Patty, thank you. You could, certainly. That would be a standalone service at that point. And that is a great way to do it. Like I had a curly-haired model yesterday we did it on. We did it inside her retouch formulation, but then I certainly wanted to match everything up. So we did a standalone treatment for her curls at the bowl. That's where you'd want to follow the recipe for a standalone treatment. All right. Well, thank you, Christine, for the hearts and the shout out. I appreciate your time here. Can you use it with the infrared iron when it's a standalone? I suppose. I don't see any real reason not to. I don't know that it's that necessary. It is working on a different molecular weight, but I can't say I've honestly tried that. So we'll definitely test that out for you here, Amanda, but I don't see why not. Do you put on dry for the standalone? I would certainly detox when it's a standalone treatment. It's not necessary, but you'll use less product. And you're also, with the pH of the water or the pH of the shampoo that you're working with, be able to slightly swell or open that hair cuticle up better for the formula to go inside. Step 1, those amino acids you want to, absorb into the hair fabric so they can start designing that web again, locking in those bonds for the structure of the hair. But I think that I would certainly detox shampoo first and rinse that out and then squeeze out some of that moisture. All right. Well, it looks like I believe I've answered everyone's questions that are on here, and I really value your time. I know we're hitting fourth quarter, so I know you guys are all very, very busy behind the chair, but I appreciate any time that you get some additional education or listen to any of our new launches. We've got so many new things coming. So thank you once again. We look forward to sharing more with you. And should you need anything, our number is on the screen, 888-213-4744. And you can reach any of our tech staff or account management staff. We're here to help. So thank you, salon professionals and tribe. I appreciate your time.